So in a strange turn of events, it turns out that StoryFire is not shutting down. The YouTube alternative that was set to shut its doors on February 1st announced on the same day that it was supposed to close that they found funding or whatever through the McJuggernuggets channel. It's created this whole big situation, and obviously it's something to talk about. So StoryFire has been something that I've covered a lot here on the channel. We've talked about it pretty much ever since last summer or so when it really started to kind of take off or whatever here in the YouTube scene, and it's been something that honestly has been pretty cool to watch grow over time. I will say that StoryFire has definitely had a little bit of an interesting route, and it's something to talk about. So StoryFire is like a YouTube/Twitter alternative. It's got like a social feed. You can upload videos if you get verified on the website. They're talking about implementing live stream in the long run, things like that, right? And it's all been set up as an alternative really to YouTube in primary. But it has an established user base, I will say that. There definitely is a decent amount of users on the platform. Personally, I have like 67,000 subscribers over there almost. My goal is to hit 100k, so if you guys want to help do that, the link is also in the pinned comment down below. I would love to hit 100k. That would be my third time hitting 100k on a platform. I just thought about that. But like, the whole situation has been crazy, and so they were set to shut down on February 1st because of funding. Obviously, a website of that caliber takes a lot of money to fund. This isn't some OpTube type of thing, right? You know, this is an established platform. It's an established brand. And it takes probably an insane amount of money, like an amount of money that I can't even fathom to run a website like that, right? And apparently they were having trouble securing funding. Investors were not pleased, I guess. Investors were not excited to invest. And it kind of led to a situation where the future of the platform was kind of in question. And of course, a lot of videos were uploaded by McJuggernuggets, the founder and kind of the leader, I guess, of StoryFire, debating the future of the platform, talking about it shutting down and whatnot. But yesterday, a video came out and he announced that apparently the platform has secured enough funding to last at least through the rest of this year. Now, according to the claims, this was like literally within 5 to 10 minutes of them finally shutting the website servers down and actually making this thing happen, making it shut down. Now, I'll talk about the legitimacy of this whole situation here in a minute, but I do want to say, I think it's a good thing that StoryFire is sticking around. I know a lot of people, they're not happy with it. They're not happy with the direction it's in. A lot of people are mad that they can't upload content there, and that really turns them off from using the site, but I think that for what it's worth, StoryFire is actually a pretty decent platform. Like, it's a good concept, it's actually ran by what seems to be decent people, and much of the issues that YouTube has are not issues currently on StoryFire. Of course, you can say that down the road, if it ever gets larger, that could be a situation you see. But like, right now, you know, StoryFire, I think, is in a pretty good position. I mean, if you're funded through the rest of the year, that's good. And I mean, let's keep it $1.50. Like, this whole situation here is going to make the platform much, much larger. I mean, so many people in the YouTube scene have talked about StoryFire shutting down, including myself. And, you know, it's been a situation where, as they've kind of announced that shutdown and people reacted, millions of people who are potential users now have kind of seen them talk about this website, you know, the alternative to YouTube shutting down, things like that. Now, I still stand behind much of what I said when it comes down to StoryFire. I mean, it is a website that, even though it is an alternative to YouTube, it's not going to ever probably be able to directly compete to the point that it has billions of active users and whatnot, right? It's such a long shot, and YouTube is going to fight it tooth and nail. So, I mean, regardless though, it is a decent platform, and even though YouTube has kind of monopolized the online video sharing section of the internet and whatnot, right? It's still nice to see at least some competition. You know, it's nice to see at least somewhere else that people can go to upload content. If anything ever happens on YouTube, StoryFire is going to be the #1 place that I go. I mean, if YouTube, like, let's say, hypothetically, YouTube shut my channel down tomorrow, I would just be uploading on StoryFire, right? Like, that would be the first place that I go, because as it stands, it probably is the best alternative to YouTube in terms of video sharing, and it's easily the best Twitter alternative. I mean, it's not even close. But the thing about this whole situation is people are kind of upset. People are actually mad about this. Now, obviously, this whole thing smells quite fishy. I mean, as someone who's very supportive of the platform, I have actually directly talked to McJuggernuggets about the platform and people who are kind of, like, I guess, big into the platform as well. And even I have to say, it clearly smells and looks very fishy. I mean, I love the platform. I think it's a very cool concept. I like McJuggernuggets. I think that he's a pretty good guy from the interactions that I've personally had with him. But I mean, the entire thing very clearly looks like a very set up situation to kind of build up a big publicity stunt, to build up a big publicity scheme for StoryFire. I mean, McJuggernuggets himself came out and was uploading content talking about, oh, StoryFire shutting down. You know, he made all these tweets, all these posts. saying, oh my god, StoryFire shutting down, I can't believe this, I'm so upset, oh, it's traumatizing, it's depressing, fuck. And that's understandable because I know that if, something I put so much time and money into was going belly up, right, I would be pretty upset too, but the fact that they secured this funding literally within like 5 minutes of the website shutting down, he got a 22-minute video out of it on his page on YouTube. It all just seems like a big, rah-rah moment to kind of draw a bunch of attention to StoryFire. Oh, we're shutting down, oh my god, the YouTube alternative shutting down, you guys are going to miss us, it's going to be horrible. 5 minutes before it's supposed to shut down, building up this big moment. Oh, by the way, StoryFire saved, right? We got all this money, we're going to be good for another year. And then even at the end of his video, he kind of goes on like this little impromptu speech, right, where he's like, oh, StoryFire is the alternative to YouTube. Everyone complains about YouTube, but nobody uses the alternatives. Step onto StoryFire today, fight big tech, all this stuff, right? It all screams publicity stunt, I'll be honest. And I know that McJuggernuggets is aware of that too. I mean, a lot of people are simply just pissed off by the concept that they would even go this far to drum up publicity. And I have to say, I don't want to make a definitive point on this one because, I mean, crazy things do happen. Miracles do happen. There is definitely the possibility that realistically, within 5 minutes of them shutting down, they got an investor to step forward, the funding was secured. That is entirely possible. I mean, in the business world, as limited experience as I honestly have in it, I have seen some pretty wacky shit happen. And I mean, I can only imagine the wackiness that business can really draw in when we're talking about multi-million-dollar platforms being established and investors and things like that actually getting involved. I've never dealt directly with legitimate investors, so I mean, I can't say for sure that this is a publicity stunt. I mean, the possibility is always there that this really was just a miracle, but I mean, given the evidence that kind of is out there, it's very clearly very skeptical, right? It's a skeptical approach for me and for most other people. I mean, I'm not totally mad if this was a total publicity stunt or anything. I mean, I don't really have too much skin in the game. I just really want to hit 100K on that platform. That's kind of like a goal I have or whatever. So I was pretty disappointed to hear the platform was shutting down and I'd never have a chance to accomplish that, but I mean, I'd have that chance again, so I do think that it is pretty shitty if this is all a big publicity stunt, though, for other people, because obviously there's people with much more investment into the platform than I. There's people who probably exclusively upload there and have built somewhat of a livelihood on there, okay? So, I mean, if that's the case and you're telling these people like, oh, your future's pretty much gone, right? That is definitely pretty fucked up, and I can see why people would be mad about that. Now, of course, McJuggernuggets, and kind of as a representative, I would say, of StoryFire, has had to come out and actually address this situation. He's had to say something about this. He put out a couple Apple notes, okay, on Twitter and over on StoryFire as well. So I'm going to go ahead and read these and talk about these. So he said, I'm not surprised by everyone's skepticism about the StoryFire shutdown, knowing that 99% of the McJuggernuggets channel is fictional drama layered into pseudo-reality vlogs. However, this shit was very real. Boy who cried wolf playing itself out. The logic makes zero sense. If I wanted to market StoryFire, I would have my dad break an Xbox or give somebody a car. Part 1 on YouTube and Part 2 on StoryFire. This new creator joined, I'd announce a big raise and inspire confidence. Instead, I candidly opened up about my $3 million loss to help you. To create an alternative platform to YouTube, pour blood, sweat, and tears into this shit, fracturing my audience for the vision, I let you know the struggles we were actually facing. Real. In what world would faking a company shutdown be a smart business tactic? People deleting their accounts, saying goodbye and losing all faith. Destroying any possible credibility and integrity. Makes zero sense. This actually happened already 2 other times in StoryFire's history. We were set to shut down in 2018 and in 2019. Same situation, we ran out of funding. This is the nature of bootstrapping a tech startup. It's fucking hard. This shit is impossibly ambitious and crazier things have happened, like how Jeff Bezos pulled off funding for Amazon. Took 50 investor meetings, all said no to landing the very last one, or how Elon saved Tesla on Christmas Eve. He got funding after almost defaulting on all of his debts. We got saved yesterday. I understand it was a full 180-degree turn at the last possible second, and that's probably why everyone's skeptical, like, come on, is this real life? But isn't that always also the best time that would also make sense to save a company as it's shutting down? Was I hyped up in the video and being ridiculous yesterday? Yeah, what else is new? My fucking child was just saved. Is everyone extra dramatic when the camera's on for entertainment? Of course. Now, this is kind of the opinion I've come to, right, regarding this entire situation. I'm not mad if this is a publicity stunt. I honestly believe this probably is a mixture of both. I like to fall in the truth is usually in the middle kind of ideology here. Honestly, I think this was a bit of a publicity stunt. I think that the possibility is definitely there, right? Maybe they did secure funding yesterday. Maybe I'm wrong. This wasn't a publicity stunt. But regardless, I think that this ended up a publicity stunt regardless, right? I think, at the very least, right, maybe they did know that funding was coming and they kind of played everything up to make more entertainment out of it and to make a big hyped up moment for their platform to try and draw in some organic traffic through that. I think that's a possibility. Or I think that even if they didn't know the funding was coming, if they really did secure funding right as they're closing down the shop and whatever, right, they then played it up to an extreme that makes it more of a publicity stunt. I think if they didn't know everything was for sure with this whole thing, I think that nothing should have been said, right? Like, if I'm 10 days out from potentially shutting down my channel because I'm going bankrupt, which isn't the case, I'm not saying a fucking thing to anybody, right? I'm not saying anything until the game is over. And I think that's honestly the approach they should have taken if this wasn't a big planned publicity stunt kind of thing. I mean, he very clearly played it up in his video, you know, he fell in the snow, he was yelling and things like that, which is understandable, but like, with this whole situation, I mean, it's not gonna make me never use StoryFire ever again. I know a lot of people are under that impression, which is fine, I really don't care, that's up to you. But I honestly do recommend StoryFire. Disclaimer, I'm not being paid. I, like I said, have had direct contact with McJuggernuggets, but I mean, it's a crazy situation. I'd love to know what you guys think about all this down below. Will this turn you off from using StoryFire? Do you think it was a publicity stunt? Let me know down below, but thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, still using StoryFire, and signing out. You've seen cool stuff in your life before, but you've never seen cool shit like this. Introducing Horser. Are we sure what it is? Not really, but is it interesting? Absolutely. Optimus, what do all these luxury cars and videos of horses and nature have to do with Horser? They're specially crafted in that order to make you want to buy shit. To make you think to yourself, oh, this Horser brand represents luxury and wealth and nature, and I need that. So fulfill the advertisement's role and go buy it. Horser. Keep it on you, or some shit like that.